Hello, everybody. It's Michael Albany of Michael Albany Photography and michaelalbany.com. I want to thank everyone for their responses to my last tutorial last week from one-handed Photoshop tutorial with the high pass filter. Basically, seems like everybody liked being able to sharpen their images and give their images pop. And I was looking at our image and decided that the next place we need to go with our image of James is to do some touch-up work and take away some of our distractions. And the first thing I noticed is James's neck here. We'll notice that his tie is not all the way up snug against his collar. But before we do that, because we have the sharpening layer of our high pass filter and then our lower layer of color and things like that, we're going to have to go ahead and merge these two layers. So what we do is we go up to layer, and see we're doing this one-handed. We go and we merge visible, and that'll bring everything into one layer. And boom, we have one layer. Now what we can do is we can go into our liquify tool by going into filters, liquify, and now we can make some adjustments on James's neck. Well, not his neck, but his necktie. His neck actually looks pretty good. What we're going to do is we're going to zoom in here a little bit. Again, I'm doing this all one-handed, so bear with me. It'll take me a little longer than it usually does. But once we go in here, then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our freeze mask tool, because there are certain parts like James's neck that we don't really want to move. We don't want his neck to move. We don't want his collar over here to move much. So we want to go down and we want to come in here and we want to kind of paint over those areas that we don't want to move. Now the collar, we need it to move just a little bit, so we leave those corners up, and we kind of, because we're going to have to tighten and pull and things like that in there. Then we go in and we click on our forward work tool, and you'll see exactly what I mean here in just a moment. And what we're going to do is I'm going to enlarge with the bracket tool. I'm going to enlarge our brush, and I'm going to make it nice and large because we're not going to move much. So we're going to move slowly and evenly. We're going to grab our mouse again, and we're just going to give a little push up. Just kind of tighten up this tie, make the knot of the tie a little bit bigger. And bring everything together, and we're going to bring the shirt down and snug it in. Just really tighten up that look, give it a good natural look, and you want to make sure you make that curve stay the same. And then what we're going to do is we're going to straighten that little corner there so that everything looks natural. And you just have to go in, and you can see this little corner here. We're just going to sneak that way, and then sneak that, and just gently go at this over and over again until we get it to where we think we want it, where we think it's good, and the collar looks natural, collar's straight here. Then we go ahead and we click OK, and this will take us back into our image in Photoshop, and we can get a good look at how that change happened. And I think that looks pretty good, especially, you know, if we zoom back out, doing Control minus with my right hand, I might add. And yeah, that looks pretty good. That makes his neck look a lot better. And just to give you an idea, that's what we had before, and this is what we have after. Before we get too far, now I just want to go in and I want to clean up these little bubbles on the glass, and I want to clean this little spot up here. And there's a couple ways we can do that. And the patch tool is my favorite for larger spaces like this. And we want to, helps if I select the whole thing. We just grab that and we just slide that right up, and it's going to be a little easier on our wall because of our texture. Whereas here we have a pattern, so we want to zoom in to this pattern because in the pattern there's the wire that's in the glass, and we want to cover that up. So what we want to do is we want to go in and grab this patch tool again, select our area, and then we want to line up. When we move, we want to line up the lines just like that, so that everything lines up just so. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Only this time, when I'm close to the edge of an image like this, if I come out here, quite often you'll get a discoloration over here. You can see where I missed there. I'm going to reach over and do a Control Z and undo that. I like to tend to go up or down whenever possible and line everything up accordingly and keep my patch tool lined up to the side so that everything lines up correctly, and I don't get too much of a discoloration when I'm coming back over. I don't get a big glow here. And you try that on a lighter, very high contrast image, and you'll really see what I mean there. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the full size of James. And I also see that in here, I want to clean up his neck here and here. And let's see here, we're going to go in and we're going to zoom into his neck first. We'll do this one spot here first. This is an easy one. We'll do the patch tool again. Just go in, highlight what we want, pull down so that our shadow's about the same. Let it go. Good, that one was easy. Now we want to clean up some of this razor rash on his neck. Now it's not a big, huge rash spot, but it's large enough that if we were to use the selection or the patch tool, we can go in here and take these smaller areas and move them. That's not a problem. But if we tried to do this whole area, where are we going to go? Where are we going to get something? We come over here, it's too dark. We come down here, we don't have enough room, we get into the collar. We come over here, it's too light. Come up here, we get beard. So there's not much we can do. So we kind of Control Z that. There's two things you can do. You can do little bits at a time, a half, and then a half, and then a half, or a third, I guess. And then you have it cleaned up. And then you have this patch here, which you also have to clean up, where we seem to have a blur. Or you can go in and use the healing brush tool. And with the healing brush tool, just go one step at a time. And just like, let's say this is here. You know, that little, looks like a pimple or something right here. And just one click that out. And you can see how you can easily just take out one little pimple at a time. Just boom like that, etc. Now there's one other thing that I wanted to look at with James. And we're going to zoom back out just a little bit. And I want to look up at his eyes. His eyes look really good in here, but they don't seem to be as white as they should be, or it doesn't seem to be as white as it should be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, and normally I would do this in Lightroom because I like the auto masking tool, but it can also be done here. We can use our selection tool or select light tool and just do that and then enlarge our area. If we had two hands, we could switch over to our wand tool and then like add to it. But we're doing this one-handed, so we go in there and see we lose a lot, so that doesn't work. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to grab our lasso tool. We're going to deselect the area, and then we're just going to kind of gently go. We don't have to be exact here. We just want to be relatively close to the edge. You could also use the magnetic lasso, which I think would work very, very well, except possibly in this area where there's a highlight in his eyes. But just really close like that, and this will give us just enough areas for what we want to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into, we can go into a brightness tool and increase our brightness. There we go. Just a little bit. I don't want to make it real white because then it doesn't look good, doesn't look natural. Just want to pick it up just a little tiny bit. Just about, yeah, about plus 16, maybe 20. I'm thinking we'll settle at 18. Then we'll Control 0 to see our image at full size. And we'll Control Z. And see how, and then Control Z again. You can see how we just brought up just a little bit of brightness in that eye, just to make it a little bit more natural and not as shaded. Then we go ahead and we hit File, Save, and we're ready to go on to our next part. And you know what? That'll be next week. Until then, it's Michael Albany saying, happy shooting.